Hello and welcome back, everyone. A lot of you have been asking how we got the guitar tone for the Eric Clapton part on While My Guitar Gently Weeps. Well, luckily for you guys, we were filming during that process, so today we can show you the guitar, the amplifier, the microphone, and the signal chain that we used to capture that sound. Starting off with the guitar, this is a Gibson Les Paul, which is a China-made Gibson, and it was redone by our friend Johnny Hawk, who is a viewer of the Beatle-y House channel. He swapped out some of the cheaper wiring and pots and the pickups to the 57 Classic Plus, and he also did this paint job, which really sells that Lucy look. And for those of you that don't know, after Eric Clapton recorded this, he gifted the guitar to George Harrison, and it became known as Lucy. The settings I used were volume on 10 and tone on 10, with the bridge pickup. Next up is the amplifier. Over to you, Neil.
All right, we have Andrew's Les Paul going into a 1969-ish, I believe, vintage Fender Bassman amp. The exact kind Paul had in '69. He used on the Rooftop and the Let It Be album, and around the White Album there as well. This just sounded the best when we tried it out. No statements, I don't know if that's what he's using or not, but this amp sounded great. So we got his Les Paul going into input 1 of the normal channel. On the volume, we have it actually only at about 4.5, and it's breaking up really nicely. Treble is at about 4.5, and the bass is at about 8.5 right there. The bright switch is not engaged. And to mic it, we have our Warm Audio U47 tube condenser about 2.5 feet away from the top speaker of the cabinet. Alright, so we've seen the guitar, we've seen the amp, we've seen the mic. Now let's talk about the signal chain and processing for the guitar in this song. We're very fortunate to have some good gear here. First of all, we got the U47 running into this Chandler Limited preamp here that's sort of based off of the preamps in the boards at EMI that were used sort of on the Abbey Road album and Dark Side of the Moon. It's a very good sounding preamp. And next we have that going into our Warm Audio 1176 compressor amplifier. Now, I do not have the compressor engaged. I'm just using this as sort of another nice sounding preamp to soften it because it was at times very harsh in some of the high notes. And then I have that going into the Shadow Hills preamp in this lunchbox we have here too. And this is a great sounding, nice preamp. It's got 3 settings in the bottom. There's discrete, nickel, and steel. And the nickel and steel sometimes sort of resemble more of a, like a vintage tube preamp like the Red Board a little bit more. It's not a Red Board emulator, but it sounds in that style. And the steel definitely helped on this one a lot. The final thing we got here is this Neve Designs tape emulator. It's just putting a little bit of tape saturation on it, kind of once again taking some of the harshness off, make it sounding a little more authentic. Once we've got everything done, I'm going to run all that through our Altec 436 here that we've just been using again recently to save the tubes. I don't track it live with everything, but I run it through after the fact. And this thing sounds great. Like it just, once you put it, a bunch of guitars and bass and drums through it, and on the final mix as well, it really just adds this Beatle-y recording quality to everything. It's a great preamp and compressor. All right, folks, you've seen the guitar and the settings going straight into the Fender Bassman. You've seen those settings. You've seen the signal chain. So we got it going straight into Logic now, and no effects yet at all in Logic. This is just the straight sound going in. You want to give them a little demonstration?
Let's do a little bit of the solo. Show what it's like. Yes.
Let's hear it.
Okay.
Obviously, we have a very good tone going already. Very proud of that. It's just the guitar into the amp, miking it. That's the way it started with the Beatles too. And then George Harrison, after the fact, said about Eric Clapton's guitar that it needed to sound more Beatle-y, so they threw some ADT on it. So that's what we're going to do too. We're going to use this lovely a plugin by Waves here, Real ADT. And I just put it on with just the stock settings, except I panned both the source and the ADT in the middle, and haven't changed anything else, and this is the final result. Hell yeah! And that's how you get the While My Guitar Gently Weeps tone.